Hello my friends and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a book haul. I have not done one in several months because I have been on a slight book buying ban, a slight one. I have bought a few during the ban, but that's because I needed them for videos and stuff like that. But otherwise, I have not bought any just like fun just because books. So this is the first book haul after my little break, my little book buying break. So I have quite a few books to talk about. So we're gonna jump right into it. Some of these I know some things about, and some of them I have no idea what they're about because I buy books based on covers and without knowing a lot of information because I like to go into books blind. So let's get into the books that I've bought recently. First up is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. I really love the cover of this book. I think the cover is so pretty. I don't know why this book just like calls to me. The cover, I don't know. There's something about it. I've heard really good things about this book, and I believe someone recommended it to me. I don't remember if it was on Instagram. I don't know if it was here on YouTube. I don't remember, but I know someone told me to read this. This is about 39 women who live underground in cages, and they are guarded by these men, and they have no recollection of like how they got there, of their lives. Like they just don't really remember anything. And that's all I really know about it. I think this is like a dystopian novel. I know someone told me that I was going to enjoy this. I think it was when I was talking about dystopian books, and someone told me I should check this out, but it sounds very interesting. It sounds a little out of my comfort zone, but I think it sounds just really intriguing. I don't know, the concept just really grabbed me, and then the pretty cover. So, and it's a pretty short book, like it's fairly small, so I figured I would dabble and try it out because it sounded like it could be a really good book. Next up, I picked up Dark Waters by Catherine Arden. This is book 3 of the Small Spaces Quartet. I have been meaning to pick this one up for a while because I really enjoyed Small Spaces, and I really liked Dead Voices. I think Small Spaces is still my favorite so far out of the 2 that I've read, but I really wanted to pick up the 3rd book. I really wanted to pick up the 4th book, but because I have them all in paperbacks, the 4th one, Empty Smiles, is only in hardcover right now. I believe the paperback edition is coming out in August, but because it's only in hardcover, I decided to wait because I want them all to match and look good together and look, you know, like a good series, like a little good collection. But yeah, this is a really great middle grade horror series. I'm having a lot of fun reading it. I think that it's actually really creepy and eerie, and it's just been a lot of fun so far. So I'm really excited to get to the 3rd book and see what it's like, and hopefully I really enjoy it. Next up is Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. So I've seen this book around for a little bit now, and I didn't know if I wanted to pick it up. I didn't know if I was gonna like it. It seems really different and interesting, and that's kind of what I'm looking for now when I pick up thrillers, and I'm trying to be more conscious of the thrillers I buy because I do buy a lot of thrillers. I buy a lot of horror as well, but especially with the thrillers, I feel like I get disappointed more. I just feel like thrillers are easily disappointing to me. I don't know. So I'm trying to be more conscious of the ones I'm picking up. I'm trying to really think about them and make sure that I'm going to enjoy them and just be better about the books I'm buying. I do buy a lot of books. I know it. I have a lot of books behind me that I haven't read yet, but I'm just trying to be more particular when I buy certain things. So this thriller has been on my radar for a little bit, and I've been putting it off, but it's gotten good reviews and it sounds unique enough that I think I could really enjoy it, and it could be something that works for me. So basically what this book is about, it's about this woman who is waiting up for her son who's 18 and he's past curfew, so she's like waiting up to make sure he gets in, and she watches him like walking with another person and he ends up shooting and killing this person. But then she wakes up, and every time she wakes up she's a day earlier, so she just goes like back a day before the murder each morning, and I guess she's gonna kind of have to like relive things to piece things together and figure out what really happened, what's going on. So it's like the Groundhog's Day trope, which I know a lot of people don't like. I do enjoy it sometimes, so we'll see. I think this could be different and interesting though. It has my interest peaked, so I am going to give it a shot. Next up is one of my favorite authors, and it is Silence for the Dead by Simone St. James. I absolutely love this cover. I am so excited for this one because I just recently read The Haunting of Maddie Clare and absolutely loved it. So I am so excited for this one. I love the cover. I think it's so pretty. I don't know anything about it. Nothing. I'm not going to know anything about it. I want to go in blind. I absolutely love Simone St. James and her writing, so I just kind of want to be surprised, and I kind of just want to experience the book and just kind of read it and see what happens. I don't want to know too much about it. I just want to go in and experience it, and I'm just having such a good time reading more from Simone St. James, so I am really excited for this one. I'm going to hopefully read this soon, so I can't wait. Speaking of favorite authors, I also have Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. Oh, I'm so excited. You all know I love Darcy Coates. One of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite author of all time, and I was so excited to get my hands on this one. I have been counting down the days till I had it in my hands and could actually read this. I don't know when I'm going to read this. I want to read it soon, but I also kind of want to save it because it's a wintry book, and even though I'm not someone that like really cares about reading books that match with the season that I'm in, I just feel like I'll really love reading a wintry Darcy in the wintertime, so I might save it if I can like hold myself back. I don't know yet. But this book is about the main character, Krista, and she joins this tour that is going into the Rocky Mountains. But unfortunately, a snowstorm kind of hinders their plans, so they go take shelter in this abandoned cabin. But the next morning when they wake up, their tour guide is missing, and they end up finding the head of the tour guide like impaled to a tree, and yeah, so one of them's a murderer. So I'm very excited for this one. I love a good Darcy, and I am so excited to have my hands on this one. Next, I got Hold Back the Tide by Melinda Salisbury. This was actually an option for my July book club for Patreon. I usually poll them monthly for what books they would be interested in reading, and this was one of the options, and it didn't win, but I really liked the cover. I really liked the sound of it. I actually don't even remember what this book is about, and it doesn't really say much on the back, so I can't give you a plot description, sorry, but I think it sounds really interesting, and I feel like I could really like it. I don't know. It just really piqued my interest when I gave them this one as an option, so I kind of decided to, I don't know, just read it for myself and see if I liked it. Speaking of, now I have the actual book club pick that we picked for July, and that is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. Obviously, because this was the book club pick, I decided to buy it because I wanted to read it, and everyone raves about this book. I have been very nervous to read this one because it's like a sci-fi horror. It's about killer mermaids. I think I could really like it. I am just so hesitant when anything has a little bit of science fiction in it. I just don't really care for science fiction. Even if it's just the littlest bit, I just feel like my head has a hard time grasping science fiction. I don't know. I've just never been great with it, so I'm a little nervous, but I know everyone loves this one like dearly, and it's like a staple in the horror community. So I am excited to finally give this one a read, and it's pretty chunky, which I'm a little nervous about because sci-fi and a chunky book, oh god. But I am excited to try this one and see if hopefully it works out for me. Next up, this book was sent to me from Atria, and it is Complicit by Winnie M. Lee. And this one sounds very interesting. I really like the cover a lot, but this book is about the main character, Sarah, who used to be a film producer, but now works as a college professor. But then a journalist reaches out to her and asks her what her experience was like working with this really famous film producer, and she decides that she can no longer keep quiet about what happened. I don't know, it sounds very interesting. I really like books about film. It kind of is the same thing for me about books or books about authors. I feel like those are really intriguing, but I also feel the same way about books about film or movies. It has me interested. It has me excited to give it a try. I don't think I've ever read anything from this author, so I'm really excited to give this one a go and see what it's like. Next up is an ARC I received, again from Atria. This is coming out December 5th, but it is Where the Dead Wait by Allie Wilkes. I love the cover. I love the cover. I think the cover is so freaking cool, and I just really enjoy these icy, wintry, snowy, cold. I know that sounds very weird, but I just love books that give those feelings and those vibes. So I feel like this one could be very interesting. I don't know much about it, but on the back it says it's an eerie, atmospheric, polar gothic following a Victorian explorer in search of his lost shipmate and his own redemption. A little worried about the gothic thing, but sometimes gothic really works for me, so I'm hopeful, and I just think it sounds really cool. And again, the cover is so pretty, so I'm really excited to have this one and to give it a read, hopefully when winter starts coming, because I think this one will be perfect to read when it's very cold outside. Next is All the Dead Lie Down by Kyrie McCauley. This was one of my anticipated releases of the year. I included it in one of my releases videos. This is a gothic romance, I believe. So I don't know if it's gonna be exactly scary or anything, but I think it's gonna have some spooky elements, that kind of thing. I think it was described on Goodreads as being similar to Bly Manor, so very interested in this one. I think it sounds cool. So this book is about Marin, who something tragic happens to her, but she gets this invitation from this woman who used to be her mother's friend, and she's a very well-known horror author. She gets this offer to be this woman's nanny, and she decides to accept. And I guess the 3 daughters that this woman has are very odd and very peculiar, and she kind of gets wrapped up in some things going on. I don't really know. It sounds weird, but I really enjoy YA, and I think this could be very interesting. I haven't seen too much about this one, so I'm a little nervous, but I do think it could be kind of fun, so hopefully I enjoy it. This next one I know absolutely nothing about, but it is Sisters of the Lost Nation by Nick Medina, and I think it looks really, really cool. I love the cover, and I feel like I saw somebody maybe talking about it, and that's why I decided to pick it up. Or maybe I was scrolling Goodreads. Something happened and I added it to my TBR, and then I just decided to buy it without reading anything about it, which isn't very surprising if you know me. But the inside cover says, a young native girl's hunt for answers about the women mysteriously disappearing from her tribe's reservation leads her to delve into the myths and stories of her people, all while being haunted herself. So I think this sounds really, really awesome. I think it could be a lot of fun. I'm hopeful that I'll really enjoy it. I don't know. I think it sounds really good. So I'm very excited for this one. The next book was also sent to me, and that is The Chateau by Jacqueline Goldis. This was from Atria, and I have been seeing a lot about this book. I think a lot of people aren't enjoying it, unfortunately. I am going to try and give it a read myself anyways, because who knows, I could absolutely love it, so we'll see. So this book is about this woman named Seraphine who invites her granddaughter and her 3 friends to her chateau, and I guess her granddaughter and the 3 friends like were in France together 20 years ago, and now Seraphine has invited them all for some reason, and then I guess Seraphine is found murdered. So I don't know. I've seen mixed things. I don't know much about it. I'm gonna go in slightly blind, but I think it could be fun. I really like the cover. It's really, really pretty. We'll see. It could be really good, so I hope I end up enjoying it. Another book that I pretty much know nothing about, and that is Chlorine by Jade Song. I have been seeing a bunch about this one, and I think it looks really cool. It looks really interesting. I, again, like I said, don't know much about it, but it says it's a blurring the line between a literary coming-of-age narrative and a dark, unsettling horror tale. Chlorine is a story about the trials and tribulations of growing up in a society that puts pressure on young women and their bodies, told from an adult perspective. So I think it sounds very interesting. I like how short it is. But again, I'm not the biggest fan of literary horror. I mean, I don't want to say that. It's just sometimes it really works for me and sometimes it really doesn't. So I don't know how I'll feel about this one, but I do enjoy a coming of age story, and I am interested to see how the two mix. I don't know. It sounds very fascinating. I've heard good things about it. I'm hopeful that I could really enjoy it, so we'll see. I hope I like it though. It looks like it could be a lot of fun. So now for book of the month, I chose to go with Dark Corners by Megan Golden, but I realized while I picked this one, I didn't even really know anything about it, but it's the one that I thought sounded the most interesting, so I really have no idea what this book is about. I did see that this is like at least like loosely connected to the author's previous book, The Night Swim, and I've actually been meaning to get that one for a really long time because a lot of people have told me that I should read it and it sounds really good. So because of that, I decided to pick up The Night Swim as well, so I can have them both so that I can read this one and then this one later. So I again don't actually know that much about The Night Swim. I know it has a podcast element to it, which I typically enjoy. I like podcast elements to my thrillers, but I've seen a lot of people say that this is like a really excellent thriller. So I decided that this was kind of like just meant to be, that I picked this one, and then I was like, let's just throw this one in the cart. So yeah, I probably shouldn't have gotten 2 more thrillers because I just got done saying that I was trying to be more particular with my thrillers and more conscious of the ones that I'm picking, but well, you know, I did it, so what can I say? And then because I'm crazy, I got a 3rd book from Book of the Month, and that was The Only One Left by Riley Sager, which I've actually already read. I've already read this one at the time of me filming this video. I have read it. I actually did a vlog with it for my patrons on Patreon, so I'm not going to talk about my feelings here. I'll tell you in my July wrap-up how I feel about this one, but I have already read it. And this book is about our main character, Kit, who is a caregiver, and she kind of had a little issue with her job. She got in trouble because a patient in her care ended up dying, and she was being investigated, so she couldn't work. And she's been a caregiver for 12 years, and now she is back to work, and she gets assigned to be the caregiver for this woman named Lenora Hope. She was accused of killing her mother, her father, and her sister. That's where I'll leave this one because I can't talk too much about it. This next book was also sent to me by Source Books Landmark, and this is The Last Party by Claire McIntosh. And again, don't know much about this one, but I remember when everyone was reading it because I believe this was a Book of the Month pick a few months back. I don't really remember when, but I do believe it was on Book of the Month, and I never picked it up, so I haven't read this one yet. I don't remember if people like this one or not, so I actually don't know too much about it. I believe this book is about this guy who has a New Year's Eve party at his vacation home, and he has like a bunch of people there, and at midnight he's found dead. So I guess everyone there at the party is a suspect. Yeah, that's all I really know about this one. I'm interested in it. I think it sounds like it could be fun at least, so hopefully this is a good one. Next up is another new release that I am very excited about, and that is Night's Edge by Liz Curran. I think that's how you say this author's last name. I'm not really sure. But one, the cover is absolutely beautiful. It is so eye-catching. It was the first thing I noticed, and I think the plot sounds very interesting. I don't know what kind of story this is going to be just based off of the synopsis, but I think it could go a few different ways. So this is about the main character Mia and her mother Izzy, and Izzy has a secret. Apparently Izzy has a hunger that only blood can fill, and so Mia has learned to protect her secrets. But now that Mia's in her 20s, she meets this person named Jade, who is a musician, and I guess Mia just kind of wants to have a life of her own. So again, the book could go several ways. I have no idea what kind of book this is going to be. I have a few theories, a few ideas, but I guess I will know more when I actually read it. And the last book I have to show you is also an ARC. I got this from Quirk Books, and it is Bride of the Tornado by James Kennedy. And this one sounds so interesting. One, the cover is so freaking cool. I absolutely love it. I just think it looks so interesting. But this sounds like such a wild book. One, it's compared to The Mist and Twin Peaks, which is a very interesting combination of things to describe this book. But on the back, it says that it's basically about this small town in the Midwest, and the adults are all talking about this thing called Tornado Day. And what Tornado Day is, it's a plague of sentient tornadoes coming to destroy them. And I guess the only thing that could save them is this boy who's known as the Tornado Killer. That just sounds so funny to me. But it says, the adults are hiding a secret about the origins of the tornadoes and the true nature of the tornado killer. So I don't know what this is gonna be like. I think it sounds so interesting. This is coming out in August. I'm very intrigued by it. It sounds very different from anything I've ever read. It sounds like it could be really cool and really fun, so I'm very intrigued. I think this one could be very, very different and very unique, so I'm excited to give this one a try. All right, my friends, that is it for a book haul. I know, it was a lot of books. I'm sorry. I tried to go as fast as possible. I've been storing these books for a little bit now because I have been wanting to film a haul, so I'm glad that I got it over and done with and showed you all the books that I have recently accumulated. Thank you so much to the publishers who sent some of these books my way. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited to read these ones. Please let me know if you want me to prioritize any of these and read them in like vlogs, or you just are excited to see my thoughts on them in a wrap-up or whatever. Just let me know if you're interested in any of my thoughts on these so I can, you know, get videos ready and lined up and, you know, make sure that I have a schedule for them all. So the ones that you all want to hear me talk about are priority. But yeah, I hope you had fun watching me haul all these books. Let me know if you read any of these, if you want to read any of these, if you're excited about any of these. Just let me know what your thoughts are. If you think I'm gonna like any of these or if you think I'm gonna hate any of these, I would love to know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. That way I know you enjoy book hauls and I can keep doing them for you all in the future. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I also have a Patreon linked down in the description box that you can join. We can become friends, talk about books, horrifying books, thrilling books, romance books, manga, all that good fun stuff. And with that being said, I hope you're having a great day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!